everybody, and welcome to Red Wings Rant, where tirades and impassioned pleas finally have a home.
Yeah. And Matt, trade deadline. Full of rants, whining, complaining, enthusiastic double thumbs down. Bang. Look at that. Woo. Look at the displeasure of my cat.
Boo.
Oh, he's
You
purring
tell him,
right now.
Clegane.
That's because he likes when we're upset. Bad boy.
Uh,
Matt, another trade deadline. Another Red Wing tumble down the standings. Larkin getting hurt and no moves being made. Did we hit all three boxes?
yeah. All right. See you guys next week.
3 for 3? Oh, no, not 3 for 3. That's all right. The comments are coming in. People are excited for this. Performance art, welcome aboard. Performance art wants a trade, but it highly depends on the return. I don't want to trade for the sake of a trade. Performance art, that makes one of us. Give me a trade, Steve. Let me know you're alive out there.
Dan B's more my speed. Let's go while we're young.
I wanted a more angry delivery on that, but I'll take it.
I was thinking more like leaning out.
I want you to kind of treat that one like our dad.
Let's
go! Come on! Do something.
I was doing it more like I'm leaning outside of my window for my car, just waiting for somebody to turn left. I feel like that would be my energy. That would be the sound of it. Yeah, so I mean, let's talk about what's going on here. Some people might be listening to this, and it's Friday at 3:00, and the Red Wings have traded for Robert Thomas and Elias Pettersson and Justin Falk.
The lineup is stacked.
We're just ready to roll. However, I feel very very confident we don't have to worry about preparing for that episode, for that result from Steve Yzerman's efforts. I don't know. There's two rants to be had today. One is obvious, that I mean, even Max Bultman went as close as he could in his Athletic article today to just say, if now is the time.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that guy has to write articles in a way that he's giving us an accurate representation of how, it's like a step above the fan. Right? He can't be super emotional about it. He's got to try and be like objective with what's going on. And he's got to write things knowing he's got to maintain relationships with all these people so he can still get information out of them. And with that said, he got as close to being Dylan Larkin critical of Yzerman's trade deadlines as he possibly could, where it's like, all right, this should be the time, Steve. You're going to have to push some things, into the poker chip table and give up some stuff you like. This is it. Because it's not just, I think maybe you and I, or I'll speak for myself, maybe we thought we were a little bit closer in previous years than Steve did. Was that 2 seasons ago when was it that last second shot we won? And then
2 straight games.
We were right. We were 1 point out of the playoffs, and we felt like if we were a little more aggressive and did something, we could have been in. This feels like a better iteration of the team, right? Feels like the highs are a little bit higher. Feels like the floor is a little bit higher. I don't know. Because I know that you have some slides set up to kind of look at, Steve Yzerman's own words, where it was like, we've commented on it, where it felt like he was kind of looming over the team, and being like, earn an acquisition at the deadline, putting it on the performance of the players.
Right.
And it was seemingly as if they were looking up into the standings, looking at Steve on every shift with the big gorilla on their back. And for this team to kind of be where they're at in the standings, kind of felt like they were doing their part. So now it's on the GM, right, to follow through on, we can't really call it a promise, but it seemed like it was, you asked for one thing, we delivered. Now you got to do your half.
So I want to come back to that because I said there's 2 rants to be had today. One of them's about the trade deadline, and all the slides are around the trade deadline. And of course, we got to keep an eye on this because it would be really fun to spin this whole episode into something way more positive. But Mike, we also lost to the Vegas Golden Knights, who hadn't beaten a playoff team. I think it might have been in regulation, so it still didn't happen. Haven't beaten a playoff team since December. We're at the end of their road trip and on a second night of back-to-backs. And of all the things that you would guess would happen, the opposite did. Vegas found their feet, found their skates in the third period, came all the way back, and then beat us in overtime. And I think I want to bring this up because we don't do enough of this, but I want to share Todd McClellan's thoughts from the game last night. So this is from the press conference. We'll play this. Hopefully this doesn't get us blocked on YouTube. I'm sure FanDuel would love to block us. Or they don't exist anymore, basically. Anyway, we'll share this in a second. I want to talk about that game and that loss, and then I want to tie it into every moment that we are wasting not improving this team, because I went ahead, like, we lose that game, and I look at like the hockey stat cards, and I go, I watched that entire game, and I'm reading the hockey stat card, and I see Berger Docker on the stat card down at the bottom. Mike, I could not tell you I couldn't recall a single moment where I saw that guy on the ice. I just was like, he played tonight? What the, that blew my mind. But it was also a reminder of how there's a guy who could improve this team and could have already done it and still hasn't done it. Because Vegas needs to win too. Vegas has to win. They're trying to get into the playoffs or win this division. They have the worst division in hockey, so they have a very good chance of winning that division, even with their terrible play.
Right.
So they got to win. And they came back and they won. What do the Red Wings need to do? We're trying to make it into the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. And we blow it to a team that's on the tail end of the end of their road trip, which is always a trap game, always a loss. It feels like. So, yeah, I wanted to hear Todd McClellan's thoughts.
Well, we didn't stay aggressive. I thought we played 2 games. We kind of played the first half of the game, and then we played the second half. First half was excellent. We were aggressive. We were direct. A lot of pucks went to the net, and we were able to get stuff back and maintain some ozone time. And then in the second half of the game, we started pulling up and playing cross ice too much. It never went to the net. They defended well and defended easier than they had to in the first. It came back to bite us, and 2-goal lead, you can't sit back. We thought we were going to check our way to the points, and it ended up costing us. So it better be a lesson learned.
I know you made a comment last week. I think it was Soder. No, it wasn't Soderblom. It was Edmondson went to a Piston game and was just talking about, that basketball team plays with a lot of grit. They play with a lot of toughness. I've seen them overmatched, and they still, they're still right there because they refuse to lose a game by 20, 30 points. Like they're still going to bust their buns. So this is the first place team. And when they make moves, it feels like they do things that kind of add people to the culture. Yeah, I mean, just the weirdest thing about Steve's trade deadline approach is it feels like...
Is there one?
Well, it is an approach, right? Yeah. Like, not doing something is also an approach.
No, I know.
It's so... I don't know if I want to use the word satisfied, but just like the status quo is okay. And it's like, you go on the social medias that are where people are going to like check for news, and then rumors come out, and then moves happen with other teams, and then Red Wing fans are just kind of looking around trying to figure out would this move have worked for us. And it's like the status quo for this team is not very good. It's like the opposite of Detroit Piston grit. There's a lot of complacency. Their head coach calling out guys who just, they like wearing a red sweater, I guess. Maybe the fashion is really their thing. Winning hockey games does not really seem like their thing. And this is multiple coaching regimes, right? I mean, there's not a lot of turnover over the last 4 or 5 years. We know these faces.
Yeah.
And I think what's just strange is like, okay, Steve, maybe you don't want to empty it out, right? But why are we so accepting of this kind of behavior when we've seen it for multiple years in a row? So it's like it's not even that it's a superstar way. I mean, we know that we want a top 6 winger, we want a better defenseman, right? That's kind of our trade. That's our ideal trade deadline. But it's like, I'm going to point to the Pistons because their turnaround for being one of the worst teams historically in NBA, sports history was only like 2 seasons ago. And now they're leading the NBA in wins. It's just like they completely overhauled all those dudes who were part of that like aura mentality. The coach is gone. Those players are reset. And it's just weird if we're going to go quiet again and like be a floundering team in the 9th, 10th spot of the conference. Why is this still okay? And it's not even the sake of making a move for making a move. It's not like these guys are just, incredible effort guys and they're just this close from like being a competent team. It's like they're not effort guys. They're also not skill guys. So is there some way we can like you got to reshuffle the deck a little bit. So it's like you got to make a trade to like kind of rescue the trajectory of the franchise. You know what I mean? So this is, if he does nothing again, this is getting beyond like just, it was kind of expensive. It's like, yeah, but we don't even need that. Like we have guys toiling around on this team who don't care. They're not playing like they care.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't just us saying it, right? It's not just the guys who get paid to write articles, right, and have to maintain relationships. So we're kind of pointing out Max. This is the coach. This is some of the players on the team. And it's like, if this goes quiet again, it's like, what has to happen for you to like, we're not doing a widespread, complete tear down, but like, you got to move some of these guys around because they don't all have the same idea of what it takes to be a winning hockey player in Detroit. It's insane.
Yeah, it is. You touched on this a couple of weeks ago, like how Steve Yzerman is playing the Spider-Man meme, or it's one of those like, I can't improve this team. So right, this was the narrative he spun last year. I can't trade. I'm not going to be a buyer because you guys didn't prove to me that you were ready to win a Stanley Cup. So I'm going to roll with the same roster with a worse defensive core, and we'll see what happens. But it's okay. I brought in John Gibson. So as long as the 30-year-old stays healthy, we're fine. We'll steal games for 82 games, and then we'll make it to the playoffs. That was my strategy, Mike. I'm Steve Yzerman, the genius. I'm basically just reiterating here. You're doing the same thing over and over, which what doesn't get calculated in that with the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. Mm-hmm. What you don't get to mix into that is age when you make that claim of insanity, because all of these guys are also older, including Mr. Patrick Kane, who I think it's great. I thought it was a fun event getting to watch him tear up. We're treating him right. And you know what? As hockey players go, they need, like, that is the type of player who deserves, let's not talk about human, but that's the type of player that deserves that type of pomp and circumstance. I thought it was great. It's beautiful. some people are claiming like, oh, I'm going to start thinking of Patrick Kane as a Detroit Red Wing with all this stuff. Great. Cool. He looks bad. He is not making the difference on the power play. He looks slow. That's something that nobody really wants to call out because his contract doesn't really eat up too much. We have a role for Patrick Kane. I just think right now he's not playing that role very well. I think for the last couple games before last night, I found it tough to figure out when DeBrincat was turning things on. And there are a couple of names on this roster that have been around for a couple of years that we're trusting to move us forward again next year. The likes of Ben Sherratt, who've been on our poop list and absolutely cannot really make a huge difference on this team, and really just feels like we're hoping he hits the ice, nothing bad happens, and then we could do another line change. But there are a lot of good things on this roster. So we're not making the argument. I don't need Kane to go. I don't need DeBrincat to go. That's not what this is really about. I'm not saying DeBrincat's terrible. For the most part of this year, he's been amazing. He leads us in goals. I don't need DeBrincat to go. But I need something added to this team so that we don't just go through this march again. And despite it only being one bad game, one stinker of a game so far, which is the Vegas game, it was pretty much the worst possible result you could get in a game where you had a 3-1 lead going into the third period, which, by the way, I think they've only lost like 2 or 3 games all year when having a lead going into the third period like that. Mm-hmm. So they've proven like we can get this done. But now another thing that's reoccurring is a March result. And I don't think it's necessarily like Kane needs to leave this team. DeBrincat needs to leave this team. It's just that we haven't done anything to try and improve what's around them to see if there's a better way to get this done. And the fact that right now nothing has happened, and like I said, somebody could be listening to this podcast at 3:00 tomorrow, and we've traded for Robert Thomas. Something exciting has happened. Right now, it just doesn't feel like that's happening. And I feel like there's a lot of the Steve bots are already preloading what did you want us to do? Trade for blah, blah, blah. Do you really think that would make the difference? No, I don't. I don't think whoever we would be trading for with a mid or later round draft pick just to do a trade would have made me any happier. However, there are big names out there. There are teams like Buffalo who have been trying to make those types of trades happen. They got screwed on Parayko. Thomas dissolved on them. Nobody really wants to go to Buffalo. So that's good news. But we know that Buffalo really hammered the phones to try and make that happen.
Right.
So the only positive for us right now coming out of that is that those players were like, I'm not going to crappy old Buffalo. No way. I have a no move clause. I get to pick where I go.
Yeah.
So all that being said, I just don't want us to be looking at 3:00 again and having to hear from people justifying that we're doing the right thing when there are big names out there. We'll get into more of this, but there's a lot of ranting and negative to come out.
I want to kind of go rapid fire through some comments too. So we got some new folks in here.
No, you're right.
We got the vocal coyote. Ow!
Yeah, first of all, Jared threw out there, I mentioned Vegas hadn't beaten a playoff team since December. Jared throws out there, no, it's November 20th. Thank you, Jared.
Jared, I'm just going to call you our producer, so I appreciate that. So I got the vocal coyote coming in hot. Yzerman's plan for the Wings to be in the playoffs is waiting for other teams to fall off, which never will happen. It does seemingly feel like he does do that. He's not waiting for the growth of his team. He's just waiting for the decay of other teams. And then he thinks he's just going to be the last cockroach, which is an insane way to manage an NHL franchise. We got Henrik, welcome aboard, saying, as a queer man and Red Wings fan, I don't think we do enough to make marginalized groups feel welcome.
Henrik, let's do this, man. We can go all day about that. Henrik, I think here's the worst part. the NHL is probably the absolute worst league at trying to do the right thing at any point in time in their existence. I mean, this is the league that still is like, I don't think concussions are a real thing. Like, let's, like that, obviously that's outside of what you're talking about, Henrik, but that's this league. They are only out to protect this little box, and they're so happy in their little box because the owner's investment for these teams is still growing. I think it's actually growing a little faster than inflation, so they're doing something, but yeah.
It's definitely the league that's furthest behind. Yeah. I mean, if we thought you were saying something we didn't agree with, it's that's NHL for
Can I say
tradition now? Yeah. What do you got?
Henrik, I'm pretty sure you're the first person to come into our chat and introduce yourself as a queer man. By the way, thank you so much for coming to our show. We're very happy to have you, man. But yeah, dude, we've got so many episodes that I have in a slide deck that just never made it. But there's so much content.
Just trashing the bigger picture of the NHL.
Oh my God. The NHL is the worst. Thanks for hanging in there, man. And thanks for coming aboard. Very happy to have
you. Appreciate that. We also got Whiskey and Welcome, Whiskey. Always bringing a smile to my face, saying, but, Mike, the prices. Whiskey, we're only we're less than 24 hours away from hearing the Yzerman press conference where we get to copy and paste that response from the past 3 years. Somebody explain to me what you think the price should be. Like Connor Murphy went for a second round pick. Outside of Kucherov 20 years ago, Matt, what are your top 5 favorite second round picks of all time? Go. DeBrincat.
I remember patting myself on the back for William Wallander.
Man, another NHL Hall of Famer, huh?
Yep.
And I'm not saying that you can't draft Kucherov, but that's an insane take. Like, Connor Murphy's having a pretty good season on a terrible team. And I feel like he would only be improved. A buddy of mine was talking about, he had a great example of that because he was really mad. Wasn't it Seth Jones was in Chicago just toiling away? And then he went to Florida, and lo and behold, he revived his career, and he was awesome. That's just, you can't really judge defensemen playing on crappy teams. It's too hard, right? The metrics are all screwed up because it's hard to tell how good they or bad they actually are. And I would have dipped into that pool for a second rounder.
So I've got 2 conflicting voices here, and this is really fun because they're both from Elite Prospects, and they are not responding to each other.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Wait, Cam Robinson from Elite Prospects told that the Robert Thomas ask is insane. Multiple first-round assets, which would include Elite Prospects, young and impact roster players. Okay. St. Louis is comfortable holding on to him until beyond the deadline. Okay, so that's one take, right? It's like just multiple first-round level assets, right? They're not saying multiple plus this. David St. Louis from Elite Prospects goes, there's a giant gap in value between Robert Thomas and your favorite team's top prospect. Don't get attached to them. He's already better than the best case scenario for their projection. Love it. Love it. I mean, yeah, what you're hoping for with a few first round picks is that you're landing a Robert Thomas. We don't know if this is true, but there was another conversation, Brian Burke on the Jeff Merrick podcast. Merrick was actually calling out Steve. And he's like, at some point, Steve has to get over this, I can't afford to get rid of one of my prospects. And then Berkey, obviously, storied GM, generations he's brought into the NHL. He said, God forbid a GM has a budget and doesn't want to go over it, which made me feel a little guilty. Like, just to play both sides here. Like, basically what Berkey was saying was, God forbid somebody like tries to own the situation and says, I have a line that I will not cross and I will not let these other teams put me in a worse situation because I might miss out on this or miss out on that. I think a part of me felt guilty for that comment from Berkey, and I think there's a lot of sense in that comment. But I think, like, one of the things, we talked about how the Wings have earned this, and I wonder if I'm going to get my slides right here when they're so small. Is that it? Whee! All right, here we go. We're just going to go for a ride.
It's fun to see how the sausage is made. Yeah, that's okay.
So here's my slide here. Why this season is different. So I think, Mike, how many years now? Like, think about, okay, well, we've let Steve hold on to his budget, but my bottom point here, like, the names that are available don't make this about finding success this year, but getting elite talent when it's available. If it's available now, it's on the trade block. That is the sense of urgency. Get the player that can make the difference for you. And it comes back to like the thought of like performance art. I don't want to trade for the sake of a trade. You and I, we 100% agree with that. And I am really bracing for the impact here of all the, well, what did you want Steve to do? And Steve will even say that in his own press conference. He said that how many years in a row now?
That was his quote, his smug quote last year.
Yeah.
I remember.
You have ideas? Why don't you tell me them? It's like, no, you're the one who gets paid to do that. We're the ones who get a small pittance from DraftKings to talk about how much we hate that you don't trade. So that's our job, Steve. Anyway, but just to finish off that point, I think I actually, the free agent class is weak. We're not going to go to free agency and find something. Trades may be the best path for improvement. Adding a player with term could help beyond this season, like the Robert Thomases. I don't care. I'm throwing in Elias Pettersson. Look, the opportunity's here. And not just the opportunity for you. 30 other teams, sorry, because the other team is getting rid of them. So that leaves 30. You wait again. Another team picks up Robert Thomas. And we're just sitting there reading quotes from Robert Thomas saying, like, yeah, I just needed a GM to sack up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just we can't do another episode that has more than 5 sentences about Quinn Hughes, but it's just like this is what trades are for. When players as good are available, they're not going to be unrestricted free agents. You're going to have to give up some stuff. So it's almost like once we saw that, we should have kind of had an idea of what we were in for this trade deadline. It wasn't even a 3-month rental, Matt. You got to have him this season and next season. It was insane for the number 2 defenseman in the league.
Yep. Probably you would have had either the best or second best player in the Eastern.
You would have had like the number 2 defenseman in the league, right, and probably number 6, 7. I don't know with Seider.
I'm going to pull up David's X post again. There's a giant gap in value between Quinn. We'll take out Robert Thomas and Quinn Hughes and your top prospects. Don't get attached to them. He's already better than the best case scenario for their projection. Love it, David.
There's a few quotes in here or comments I just wanted to throw out there that came out back to back. Big Debo, welcome aboard, saying, honestly, I feel like Trocheck and Falk would juice them up for a legit run and help in the years to come. The free agent class is trash. Make your move now. Debo.
Hell yeah.
People don't like signing here. So you know what? You don't give them a choice. I traded for you. Get in there. Obviously, the no move clauses will put the kibosh on a few of those moves, but a few of them, might give it a shot, right? Because as things stand, we're a playoff team. A real one. We're right there. Right there, guys. We're right there, right in the playoffs. And Dan B, look at this wild guy. I want guys who will compete hard every shift in game. Well, you're in the wrong city, rooting for the wrong team, Dan. Get the hell out of here. No, it's
he put the little sleepy emoji.
Yeah.
Jared threw out there. They make pills for that now. Dan B, did you know that?
There's another one. It was like 3 in a row I really liked. Where'd he go?
Well, we haven't called out Yzerman yet. He does throw out there. He's got the fire Yzerman.
Yeah, I think that was it. There was 3 in a row.
This is crazy. Yzerman can't do nothing. Big waste of time. Yzerman coming in hot.
Yeah, he said, fire Yzerman. This is crazy. He can't do anything. Waste of time. Yeah, I mean, the resume is, he got some top lottery picks, and he picked Seider and Raymond. That's good. He traded for DeBrincat, who, was kind of petering out in Ottawa, and he traded for John Gibson, who Anaheim was kind of tired of, and they had a different, younger, better, sexier goalie that they were ready to play. So I just, I want to contextualize these things, because this is going to be a pretty big opportunity where we're just going to not participate. We don't even get a participation award. At least last year we got Mrazek, right? This is a non-participant award.
I wanted to call out Jared. Says, I was thinking earlier, I can't recall an Yzerman trade in his Tampa Bay days. I remember in like our first year of our podcast, I made a comment like that, and I remember our numbers just dropping for like the next couple of weeks. But Dan B, hey, Steve is having a better trade deadline than Ken Holland, Stan Bowman, and Kekalainen. I can't argue there.
Oh, Whiskey also putting in a bid for comment of the episode, saying Steve's been eating crayons and daydreaming in his office for the last 3 years. Why would anyone expect him to do something? He's sat on his hands for 7 years now. I remember looking up last year at the Utah game when we had another one of our March collapses, and I could see a little bit of color in Steve's teeth. I didn't realize it was crayon. So, Whiskey, I appreciate you breaking the news to us. Some fresh Crayola stains on Steve's teeth there. And Dixon, it's been a minute, buddy. Glad you're here. What up?
Hey, Dixon.
Brand new's here too. What up, man?
Hey. I don't like Merrick either. That's what Brand New threw out there. No, Dan, I think we've talked about this too, that you think Merrick is a doofus. I think he is a doofus, but I also I enjoy it because I'm also a doofus / I think that could be elevated on my side. I think I'm kind of a dipshit. I really liked what Chaos's take for Steve Yzerman. They said we're either going to do a wellness check or wait and see if Steve actually does something this year. Just to see if Steve's still alive. That was basically what Chaos was saying today. That was a good one. That was we're getting some juice from some of the national podcasts too, where they're just kind of like, when?
Let me. Can I do a short little game with you, Matt?
Yes.
Because I was just, we asked, what could Steve have done? So I just wanted to throw a few of these trades at you and see if you would have done the equivalent from the Red Wings perspective. Does Nick Dowd do anything for you? A captain who's just an effort guy who'd be at the bottom 6, probably bottom 6 forward for us. Vegas got him for some goalie prospect, a 3rd rounder and a 2nd rounder in 2029. We're going to be on a new, hopefully, a new president at that point. That's a long ways away. Matt, how would you felt about adding Nick Dowd?
I don't know. I don't give 2 shits about that. I don't know if the game's supposed to be like, yeah, I would have given that up for Nick Dowd, but no, I want an impact player. I want Robert Thomas. I want Elias Pettersson. I want my socks blown off for some superstar that's coming over here.
So you're out on that one. Does Nicholas Roy do anything for you?
No.
Okay.
I don't know if this.
What about
Uyghur?
Uyghur, does that do anything for you?
What was the trade for him?
It's a position. It does feel like a little bit of a lot. Oli Mata, Castagna, and then 3 second rounders. Wow, 3. How did Utah get 3 second rounders in one draft? Jared, I need my producer.
Oh, it's Utah. They've been collecting draft picks forever. They finally have a reason to use them.
3 non-first rounders: Oli Mata and Castagna, Jonathan Castagna.
This is crazy. The Puckpedia just died on me. I'm trying to pull up these trades so I can keep up with you. Yeah, I don't really care about draft picks anymore. Go for it. I don't think that's not on the level that I'm asking for, if I may. But
so I think we talked about this a little bit. All right. Again, I don't want to speak for you. My ideal was some dude who's going to be a 4, 5, 6 defenseman, and then save my big pieces for a forward. That's where I want to go. I can't get over this Connor Murphy for a second. That just feels like such a nothing trade.
I think, it's funny, like looking at what Edmonton has done for their goaltenders. I don't mind I don't really mind the other moves that they made. They're the ones. Were they the ones that got Connor Murphy? Am I getting that wrong? Who did get Connor Murphy?
He went to Edmonton. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I did get that right. Yeah. So I mean, that one was one we called out a few weeks ago, and we were even asking, like, wow, would he even be available? Yeah, he was, and he's gone. Mackenzie Weegar again. Yeah, I would have made that trade. I think that solves some problems for us. I am pretty bummed. Like, some of the news on like the Parayko fallout is that he wants to go to the West Coast. So there's just no chance for us there. But, talking about our needs, I mean, we jump back in here. We could start with defense. I could skip these guys.
While you're shifting the slides, I love this from Dixon saying, if players are outed for exercising their no move clause, GMs should have to out deals they couldn't get done.
Ooh, baby.
I'm sending that one to the commish. I love that one, Dixon. That's awesome.
I love that. Like, they have to like catalog every single phone call. There has to be a meeting minutes, and then that all gets audited. Released.
It gets audited and sent to the fans.
Yeah. No, like there's a whole website, just like, the Epstein files. Like, there's the NHL trade deadline files. You click on the name. Who are the 2 GMs that we're talking?
Yeah, it's almost like the NHL Patriot Act. All that stuff's got to be documented somewhere.
Where are we at? Steve's alarm clock goes off at 2:45 p.m. tomorrow. Steve wakes up in a feverish panic, calls Chicago, asking for Craig Smith. Jared throws out there, he retired. That was his final hurrah.
Yeah, but it's like, certain wrestlers who we think they're retired, and then you hear the entrance song and they're coming down the ramp. Mark out, it's Craig Smith. He's having a couple of cold Steve Yzers, or I guess Craig Yzers.
I gotta say, one of my favorite things I'm seeing on this trade tracker right now is Jeff Petrie getting moved for a 7th round pick. All right. Oh, whiskey thrown out there. That was the point of the joke, Jared. Come on, Jared. You ruined it. All right. Still available. Rasmus Ristolainen, Justin Falk. As of, we should time it, right? Or clock it. 7:45 p.m. on March 5th. Ristolainen, I'm coming around on. I'll be honest. Like, this is a guy I pick up in the video game all the time. Like, and I know this is the dumbest thing in the world to bring up, but I have been a fan of his because of that. So I'm not gonna hate it. But it's definitely not the move. Like, if you look at how he's performed and what he brings to a team, it's not really gonna solve
5-on-5 defense.
Yeah, it's not really gonna solve your almost worst in the league 5-on-5 offense. However, I mean, we're still talking about a guy that, maybe those second pair minutes come down to a third pair or something like that. It's just a couple years. I don't know. I'm taking a look here. I still don't hate it. I just, it's not.
Well, I thought
it's an upgrade on this team, but it's not going to get me soaking my jeans.
I thought the wins above replacement for him was the same as Connor Murphy. And I feel like Rasmus is almost certainly going to cost like a first and something.
Whoa. Look at, Talik's thrown out there. He wants to do a first, Marco Casper, MBN, and
there's
Axel,
a bid for comment of the
Austin
episode, baby.
Matthews.
Let's go. I like
Talix,
this Talix guy. Let's hear some more trades for Talix.
There's a lot of Austin Matthews hate usually in this chat. So Talix, I'm interested to see what happens. I'm interested to see what happens.
Bring him home, baby. Yeah, I want that hairline to come home.
Bring him home.
Let's go. Yeah.
Just to the
Austin
U.S.,
hairline
you mean?
Matthews. Yeah. Dan B saying EP40 and Hronik. Oh man, what a bundle what a fundle bundle that would be tomorrow.
I think it's wild that with how horrible Vancouver is, that they're like, oh, but we're keeping Hronik. He's off the table, guys. Like, okay, sure.
Help yourself, I guess.
That's a hill to die on, I guess. All right, so continuing the defenseman conversation, we got Dougie Hamilton, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Frank Saravelli's tying the Red Wings to the Oliver Ekman-Larsson conversation.
Oh,
great!
Sink your teeth into that one. Yeah,
3 years of Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Welcome to being my new least favorite defenseman.
Can you imagine putting him and Sandin Pellikka on the same line? Man, that's a lot of syllables. Lead the league in syllables. Huge.
There was a defenseman that was mentioned. Oh, Adam Fox was mentioned on Puck Soup. And Adam Fox.
Stop it, Puck Soup.
With the Red Wings. And they were talking about how good that would be for a couple of young defensemen that either haven't made it or put them with Axel. So I'm all for it. I'm all about it. That guy's a 99% WAR, I believe, off the top of my head. Bring him on down.
I mean, we didn't want Quinn, and I saw no smoke that Fox was actually being like dangled out there. Is it just the Rangers are just listening to things?
I think that was like because this is a team that should be trading guys. Also, this is a really old slide that I'm bringing up. So if you guys are like looking at this, trying to figure out why there's extra detail for Erik Karlsson, Matt's lazy. So the Erik Karlsson slide is up for all the podcast listeners.
Yeah.
But okay, let's do this so we can actually have a conversation. But no, I think it came from the conversation that Adam Fox was having with the media. They were asking him about, where his head's at with the trade deadline and next season, and he's kind of treating it like I don't want to talk about it. That's not verbatim, but that was the vibe he gave. Like he's just like, let's just get through the season, guys. And a lot of people are interpreting that as like Adam Fox has had the conversation about moving on from New York by the end of the trade deadline. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I would be all about that. I think I honestly do think that's a perfect fit. Yes.
I feel so silly that all day today, as I saw other teams making moves, I kept refreshing social media and there was still nothing going on. Oh, what are we doing? This is utter madness. I can't believe that we thought this year was going to be different. I'm so sad. Dixon throwing out there, Quentin Byfield? I got to imagine there's only one Byfield he could be talking about, could be available.
Wow.
Not for us. We don't do trades. Whiskey thrown out there. Even Ottawa, with less than a 20% chance at making the playoffs, felt the need to move a second for Matt. You get to laugh at me for this pronunciation. Fogel?
Yep, you got it.
Warren back, Fogel. Baby. Yes.
So yeah, I did put this slide together. I thought this was fun. Just to remind everybody about last year, but we already kind of did it.
Emily goes. Welcome, Emily. Trade the whole team for the Panthers. They would all wave and win again.
Let's do it.
So
who says no?
Can I ask you something, Matt?
Yeah.
We're almost there. We're almost at the deadline. It's looking increasingly likely that nothing happens. What does this show look like next week? Do we just move on and say, well, trades are hard. It takes two to tango. And, a lot of offers out there. They kept asking too much. So we're going to really shoot for that 8 seed here and hope for a lot of internal development because it doesn't look like any free agents will be coming here anytime soon. And, the draft picks taking a while. And nobody's really popping at Grand Rapids. I guess you could say MBN. Sure. You throw him in there. Okay. You throw MBN. You throw him in there. You got one guy. Maybe a goalie. He'll be up by the time he's 34. We'll see. Can we get close to the start? I don't know. What is this show going to be? What is this show going to be the rest of the season? Is it just crossing our fingers that we squeak into the playoffs undermanned?
I think that we should role play the first half of the show as Steve Bots. And then the second half of the show, so right at the half-hour point, we flip we'll redo the intro song and we'll give real takes and we'll do the measurements on YouTube, like which parts of the show get more listens. We'll clock it out too. We'll give people the opportunity to, chapter it out and head to the side of the conversation they want to hear.
I know that next week there's still things to root for, right? We are still technically a playoff team, right? Because we got a couple games in hand. God damn it!
What did I text you last night after that game?
Oh, what was it?
I
had 45 texts going on last night from you.
I said, "Are you ready to get your teeth kicked in by Buffalo, Tampa, or Carolina? Like just watching us flub that game against Vegas, real teams, like Buffalo. Man, if you guys haven't been paying attention to great,
what are they 22 and 3-2 or something like that in their last 30?
But how dominant they look in games too.
Yeah,
they're outworking folks. And they're the skill plus the outworking. They look nasty, man. They could catch Tampa with how good they're playing right now. For sure. Floor could fall out from underneath them and they turn back into Buffalo Sabres. But the way they look right now, man, that's going to be if it was us versus Buffalo and we have to read through the national media's picks for who's going to win that series.
Yeah.
That's going to be the one everyone's going to have circled for a 4-game sweep. Like that. They look so freaking strong right now. That is the last team I want to face out of Carolina, Tampa, and Buffalo. But man, if you don't improve this team, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we could still root for Seider. We'll still have, DeBrincat and Lucas, but it's gonna be real tough, man. I mean, this team needs some electricity. The fan base does. I mean, we've been feeling it, Steve. Like, we don't want to keep buying these $400 Centennial jerseys. You know what I mean? When arguably our 5th best player is James Van Riemsdyk. You know what I mean? Like, can we get some real talent in here? Please, we're begging you.
How great would it be to have a Robert Thomas plus JVR's performing the way that he was? That's where that stuff really elevates you into unstoppable, as opposed to oh man, I hope JVR keeps this goal streak going for 82 games so we can make it into the playoffs. $1 million 80-year-old JVR. Hopefully he keeps this goal streak going.
I just don't understand. I mean, the pieces are out there. It's not overpaying if you make it to the playoffs and win a round. You know what I mean? You're so worried about the cupboard being bare, right? But I thought you had all these guys, all these prospects, just buckets of prospects just falling out of your ass. You don't have enough to make one trade, and you're so worried about trading these first-round picks. And it's yeah, but these guys are going to pan out for 4 or 5 years. So you don't think it's worth it to try and have some semblance of a postseason career for DeBrincat, Larkin, Lucas, Seider? All right, this sucks. I'm gonna be so bummed tomorrow at 3:01. God damn it.
We got to do this part, and then Mike, you and I, we got to go watch Wemby kick the Pistons' teeth in. But real quick,
all right.
Spinoramas, Michigan goals, and those heart attack Cam Talbot sprawls across the crease. If you're living and dying with every Red Wings highlight like we are, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered. They're an official sports betting partner of the NHL, and they're making the action even sweeter. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll score $200 in bonus bets instantly. Yes, the same feeling as watching Lucas Raymond pick a corner, but for your wallet. So do what we do every game week. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-7897-777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. Pass-through of per wager. Tax may apply. In Illinois, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved.
So I have one silly thing that I can end the show with. Go ahead.
Our Yzerbot found his way into the chat.
If you think we have to make a trade, then you're just experiencing FOMO. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, don't sell the farm in a season where we might not make the playoffs.
Mike, can you imagine a world where, like, as a sports fan, you're like, man, can you believe those idiots over there? They're like celebrating winning the cup. Man, forget,
dude.
I ain't got no FOMO. Man. I ain't got no FOMO. You know what, Steve? Where's those boots? I gotta lick them. Where them boots at? I got to lick them. Dude, this is a horrible take, man. Because we're not talking about the trade deadline to pick up a one-off, dude. We're talking about there's legit names out there. Go make it happen. Wake up, man. How long you want to wait for playoffs, dude? What's the point of being a hockey fan? What's the point of being a fan of this team?
I don't know.
A horrible take. Oh my God.
I don't know if you're a season ticket holder, but I hope not. That's a terrible investment.
Oh.
The one nice thing, if we don't do anything, is I won't feel inclined to buy tickets or jerseys. So
hey, that'll
be nice.
The decision for us.
Save a little bit of money.
Yeah, whiskey threw out there. We found the Yzerbot. They made their way in.
Those people I'm not mad at them. They fascinate me. Like, do you like having this happen every year? You're an audience member for the postseason. That's what you are. That's what you prefer. You're not involved with it.
Yeah. I mean, you
have stuff, right? It's nationally published media. Man, the Red Wings, what a farm system. Great. You can't play all of those guys.
Also, nobody, like, that's not, we're dropping down those lists, by the way. Like, what's frequency 3815? I don't know, man. We got to let them know too. We don't use Twitter anymore. He says we're blocked.
Twitter.
We went to the real social media places.
Dude, nobody uses Twitter anymore.
Yeah, you should probably get off Twitter, dude.
You're 2000 and late, bro. Nobody does Twitter.
Ew, what a dork. All right. Dan B says, thanks for doing the show, boys. My neighbors think I'm talking to myself. Perfect. See, now that's the energy I want to hear. And Peachy Keen throws out there, it's just tiring to see rumors swirl and nothing happens. Oh, Dan B, he thinks this is Darren McCarty. You know what? That does sound like a Twitter guy.
Well, I feel like frequency, I don't know how long you've been in this episode, but I think what we have kind of decided is, like, making a trade for the sake of a trade is a wild claim, right? But
yeah,
if the fans are noticing it, which is like the least important thing, right? That's kind of the first barometer for, the players are noticing it, which is kind of the second. Ooh, well, maybe this is real. The head coach who has to, be subservient to the GM and is paid by the owner is saying, You're paying guys over there just wearing jerseys. They don't care. So their objective is not to win. They're not playing hard enough to do that. So I don't think that you're kind of going through the 4 layers of like, how do we know if there's really a problem? It's not just the sake of making a trade for making a trade. You have dudes on this team who are busting their buns. And you know who they are. They're the guys that we actually buy the jerseys for. But if you have enough of a problem that all 4 of those entities are kind of noticing, like, wow, this is not working out. A trade is necessary to reset things because you can't keep doing the status quo and then be surprised that you miss the playoffs again and again and again and again. That's where the trade comes in. Even I know that ideally we want a top 6 forward. We need a top you got middle 4 defenseman. We'll say that. But it's like you can't keep having this same. We know these faces. We know these names. There's not a lot of turnover. And it keeps getting the same result. It's literally insanity. So this is not about boredom anymore. This is about, I like hockey. I like watching it. And I don't understand what has to happen for change to occur so that this is a winning product. I just don't understand.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the 6 years for Kyrou, 4 years for Trocheck, 7 years for Pettersson, 6 years for Robert Thomas. I think we're doing more than a
rental,
a one-off rental. Yeah. I don't know. Frequency, maybe you'll come back for next week's episode and you'll get to, tell us how upset you are if we do trade for like Pettersson or Robert Thomas or something more exciting than what we've been watching. And you could tell us, how horrible it is. But while we're celebrating, we'll let you know how happy we are. But hey, you know what? I think you'll be happy next week if I had to put money down. So we'll wrap up. We're going to go watch. Mike, do you want to go watch first place team with an MVP on it?
Oh, yeah. Sign me up.
Let's do it. All right. We're going to go. We're going to go watch the Spurs kick the crap out of the.
Oh, no. How could you?
No, I'm kidding. I think they'll win tonight.
Let me throw this out there. Look.
Yeah.
If we make a move, there will be a podcast tomorrow, and I will be happy to eat crow. In fact, Matt, this was the fun thing I almost forgot. Steve, if you find it in your heart to trade for EP40, this is recorded. Matt and I are going to buy 2 jerseys. And you know what they're going to be? They're not going to be EP40 and EP40. They're going to be Elias, number 4, Pettersson, 0. And Matt and I are going to sit next to each other for a small season ticket package next season. You know how expensive that is? That's a real time and money investment. 2 custom, ridiculous jerseys symbolizing our appreciation for the hard work of Yzerman at the trade deadline. And it's recorded here for all you people.
You've been challenged, Steve.
Elias 4, Pettersson 0.
Whew. All right.
All right.
I'm in.
Ready, Matt. Matt's in. I love it.
Let's do it.
All right. Glad to meet some new people, and hopefully we see you tomorrow for a big EP40 trade.
Woo! I'm definitely buying a jersey. I have to get a Pettersson jersey.
A Pettersson 0. Hope you're ready.
All right. See you guys.
All right.